Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Talons Zone. Yes, we're here for ClassicWhoZone. I'm here with Lee. The only
Hello.
list that's available tonight because Charlotte is very tired. She had some sort of inspection and they had to get stuff done. So she's tuckered out. So Charlotte will join us obviously next week now. So yeah, and PD is busy tonight because he's got his I think his theatre work or something. So he already told us he wouldn't be here, and I forgot all about it. So when I did say at the end of the last stream that PD will be joining me with Lee, I was totally wrong. It's just me and Lee
You're
tonight. And we're here to talk about an episode, a story that I can't even pronounce. So, but I'm gonna try it because, like, if I don't try, I'll never get it right. So let's see if I finally got it right this time. So the Talons of Weng-Chiang. Yeah.
Yes.
Sort of. Right. Okay. Well, I probably got the pronunciations a bit wrong. But we're here to talk about. So, what we decided to do, Lee, instead of actually doing the episodes, because we've literally done all of them now at this stage, because we've done ClassicWhoZone over the last 5 years and we've covered a lot of stories. So, for this format, what we've decided to do, obviously, because it is a pain in the ass to get certain stories for a lot of people. So what we've decided to do is we'll just have a discussion. It won't be obviously as long as the original streams, but at least we'll be able to talk and discuss it more than we probably would have if we were watching it, because there are times where we do stay silent quite a lot, and then we obviously do the talking at the end. But for this, we can talk all the way through, and yeah, say it like that. Get out, just stop, man. Stop me and pronunciations, and this is why I hated the Chris Chibnall era. Every single fucking episode of his was it was awkward for me. But Lee, obviously we're here to discuss the Fourth Doctor, Tom Baker. Fair to say your favorite Doctor?
Yes. He is.
So where does this? So where I'll ask you a question. Where would this story rank to you in Peter Capaldi's? Tom Baker's. I know, I'm all over the place because I'm literally multitasking here. I'm here doing this stream and I have to cook a dinner, so I had to literally take the frying pan off the pan while the intros were coming in because I was going to burn me dinner. I'm doing the stir fry, but I never got it done in time because me and Christian start talking after the second stream. So yeah, because you know me, Lee, we don't leave straight away. We have a bit of a chat, so it's my own fault in a way. But yeah, where would you rank this? Because JWC Reviews there says it's one of the top 5 greatest stories, no question.
It is. Well, I mean, there are so many for me. I mean, it changes by the hour. You know, there are so many great Tom Baker stories, and boiling it down to a top 5 is virtually impossible because there are just too many great stories, especially from that season. I think it's one of the greatest seasons of Doctor Who of all time. Talons of Weng-Chiang is one hell of a story. What can you say? I mean, it's perfect. You've got the horror, you've got the Victorian thing, you've got the Sherlock Holmes-esque feel about it, and of course the racisms.
Yeah, let's because obviously we do have to kind of, we can't discuss this episode without actually bringing that up. Is it? But here's the question, right? Here's the thing, right? To a certain minority out there, it's a racist story because of yellow.
They're
face,
idiots,
right? But let's be honest, the TV industry at the time, this air date, so this came out in 1977, February 26th. Now, if you go back to the year 1977, if you had a time machine, which none of you have, but even if you did simple research, you will see by 1977, whether it was a right or wrong thing, right? That's beside the point. There weren't many Asian actors, especially in the UK. Hollywood, we had Bruce Lee, of course, but there were few and far between. So the way I look at it is because it was society at the time. It was the way at the time. So the story is obviously going to reflect. And a lot of shows did this, Lee. A lot of TV shows, even Little House on the Prairie could be criticised.
Yeah, it's of its time.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't apply a modern lens. Well, I say modern lens. It's more like a postmodern lens these days.
It's not a modern
lens, on the past like that.
Yeah.
You have to look at Britain at the time it was made. It was exceedingly white. There wasn't much in the way of Chinese actors. There weren't 10 a penny in those days. It just wasn't as multicultural as it is today. You can't blame Britain for being Britain. It's just the way it was.
Britain was let's be honest, Britain was multicultural. They talk about racism today in the UK, which is kind of baffling. In UK, especially London, black people weren't getting treated the same way as they were getting treated in America. You know what I mean? No. The UK has always been, in fairness to them, has always been quite diverse country. Again.
Well, since the 1950s. Since the 1950s. Let's be honest, right? It was the Windrush generation in the 1950s that brought in multiculturalism, joining the EEC or the European Economic, whatever it was back then. That was the beginnings of it. But ultimately, even in the 1980s when I was growing up, there was, I think, 2 black kids in my primary school, and that was in South Wimbledon, near Tooting. So, it's not as widespread back then as people seem to think it is today, because they weren't around then. They don't know what it was like then.
And I'm not saying our societies weren't really open. It was the same with Ireland. We weren't multicultural. People didn't move around as much back then.
That's
it's
right.
Different
it was
now.
Expensive.
You can literally, yeah, exactly. But literally now you can. You can book a £40 flight to fucking UK now. With Ryanair.
Yeah, you look at the 1970s. It was the start of holidays abroad to Spain and things like that.
Yeah.
That was really only really beginning more or less in the mid-70s.
Because Irish people and English UK people like the holiday at home. You look at the old footage in the UK, it was Blackpool, all of those places. Like UK is always went to the seaside. It's the same with Ireland. We never really went abroad. And you're right, start going abroad became a thing. Well, in Ireland it was the 80s. It was the mid-80s, because we're always behind everybody else, including the UK. But I do know in the UK, you're right, the 70s was a time when people from the UK were actually planning holidays outside of the UK. That never happened before. So, again, you're right, context is everything.
You have to look at the relationship with China as well back in the day, because China wasn't as open today as it is. It wasn't as open.
It's more open than it was back then. You're right, absolutely.
The only sort of Chinese people you would find in London at the time really would be from Hong Kong or Macau, You know,
Yeah.
the English and Portuguese, British and Portuguese islands that were, you know, practically, you know, the last parts of the colonies of Britain and Portugal at the time. My grandfather, my mother's second husband, who raised me,
Yeah.
was Chinese. He was from Hong Kong. Uh, you know, we have relatives who lived in Hong Kong and Macau. So, you know, I was very inducted, if you like, into Chinese culture from,
Yeah.
you know, from as far back as I can remember. You know, I used to go to Chinatown a lot. We used to go and eat the New World restaurant in Chinatown, and they all belong to, like, you know, the Lions Club and all this kind of stuff. You know, um, and it was a very small community, really. I
Yeah.
mean, very disparate. So, I mean, to say that there was a lot of Chinese, I mean, there were Chinese actors used in the Talons of Weng-Chiang, but they were extras. You know, they weren't, you know, the trained actors that we, you know, have today in much larger numbers. So, I mean, quite honestly, you know, you're not sport for choice. And the guy, you know, the guy who played was it John Bennett, Lee Sen Chang,
Mm.
um, did a great job. I'm sorry, you know, what do you want? You know, and you know, the issue of racism against Chinese, it was addressed in the story as well. You know, to you we all look the same. You know, it's like that was a very common racist trope at the time, and they addressed that. They addressed that, and I think it was done fairly well. Um, you know, today we might look at it and go, oh, you know, awkward, or that's a bit dated, but you know, that's just the way it was. I'm sorry. You know, you can't rewrite history. I know people are trying, but you can't. You know, and you can't adopt an attitude of like moral supremacy over a time which is completely removed from your own time. It just doesn't. You just can't do it that way. You know, you have to look at things fairly within the context of the time it was made. Whether or not you agree with that or like that, that's neither here nor there. It's just the way it was. So I think sort of condemning it now in the modern terms is a big mistake. There he is, and he looks fantastic. He does, and I don't think it looks offensive. I mean, it's very. I think it looks very accurate. You know, it's. I mean, I mean, where's the arguments about, you know, what was that film with the guys who dress like white girls, the black guys who dress like white girls? No, leave me hanging. Why don't you? Yeah, white was it White Girls? I think it's just called White Girls, wasn't it? That was fun. That was fine, and you know that's allowed. But you know,
Yeah.
I
White
don't see
Chicks
it
was
as
great. It was White Chicks.
White
It
Chicks. That
was.
was it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ben Kingsley played Gandhi, and that was
Yeah.
celebrated, and you know, and he was a
Exactly.
great actor who played the part very
Peter
well.
says the story is amazing. To pick on this misses it by a mile. Well, the reason why we bring it up is because we know that there is a faction of fans out there that, have been trying to cancel this story for a long time. I mean, it's even gone to the point now where I think there's a trigger warning at the start of this story if they show it on. I think when it was on BritBox, I think there was a trigger warning on it. Um, but we're trying to explain to anybody that's listening out there that did have that opinion. You've got to take context is everything here, and you've got to look at the way society was in the UK back then. It's the same in Ireland. We were very closed off, sort of thing. Yeah, UK was a bit more open than we were. You know, um, and that's just the way it was. It's just the way it was. But yeah, going back to this story itself,
Mm.
Lee, because we've
Oh, I
given,
think we've addressed it now. Yeah.
yeah, we've addressed that issue now. In the Bond film Doctor No, the Chinese Doctor No was played by a white guy. No one complained. Yeah, well, these idiots complain over everything. JWC, they've got nothing better. Sure, they got Human Nature, Family of Blood blocked as well, because they're idiots. Um, but I do like Tom Baker's get up in this particular story. Um, was that a knock at our
Yes, very
door? I don't.
rare to see him without a scarf.
Yeah,
He's got the
yeah,
deerstalker hat, looking very Holmesian, which is ironic because it's written by Bob Holmes as well. So yeah, I mean
yeah.
it's a great look. You know, it's a shame we didn't get to see more of that, but maybe it was a bit too on the nose for anything else. Yeah,
Here
I
it
mean he
is.
was
Yeah,
very Holmesian. There you go,
there we go.
fabulous.
It's a
Yeah.
bit of a grainy picture, but I suppose it's probably taken off the actual episode itself. But yeah, interesting how the media start writing about this then after all of the hullabaloo. But yeah, would you say this is as you said, someone says in their top five, so this is up there for you, definitely.
Oh yeah, I mean it's so beautifully written. The characters are great. It's got a real creepiness to it, especially with Mr. Sin. You got that kind of Victorian horror, gothic horror, which I love.
Yeah,
You know, the fog and the horses and carts and the back streets and the cobblestones. You know, and it's creepy, and that's what you want from your Doctor Who. You know, and you've got a mystery to solve, and you've got this um, existential evil presence. You know, and this magic and science fiction and mystery, and that's what you love in Doctor Who. It's got it all. And Leela is, so you've got a bit of Sherlock Holmes in there, but you've also got a bit of like My Fair Lady as well, with Eliza Doolittle as in Leela, and um, I love that. I love that, and you see the Savage becoming sort of, teaching Professor was it Lightfoot to eat with a knife, and he's just like grabbing it with his hands, and she's grabbing it with her hands and stuff. I love that.
here's a
It's
bit of
fun.
trivia for you. It was voted by fans as the greatest Doctor Who 1963 serial of all time in Outpost Gallifrey poll in 2003 to celebrate 40 years of the series. Well, that was in 2003. 20 years from now, I don't think that would be voted because of the Muppets that we have in the fandom now. But I thought that was interesting. A lot of these Tom Baker stories, though, do feature quite a lot in top episodes, or if they do polls, Tom Baker always does very well. Um, I mean, I'm just looking at the pictures here. I haven't seen this episode in a while. I actually have to sit down and watch it again. I might do it tonight, actually. Um, but I'm just looking at the costumes, the costumes and the masks and stuff.
Mm.
It's very well done for the time. 77. I mean that is there. Hold on. Here we go. Finally got a picture. I mean, this would scare the crap out of you. Obviously, if you were a kid in 1977, sorry, 1997. Why is my brain gone why is my brain just not registering things today? So there, look, I mean, that's pretty
I love that.
detailed there. Not the greatest photograph. Well, there you go. Here's another one. And there he is in his deer stalker hat. I love the jacket. I mean, it's Tom Baker. What isn't there to like about Tom Baker?
It's got a real sort of Hammer horror feel about it, doesn't it? And I just think
Uh,
that that's That works
Do you
so well
think
with
so?
Philip Hinchcliffe. Mm. Yeah, I think it does.
It does get a bit of criticism for being a bit too gothic horror. Would you agree with that, or do you think it's
You can
unfounded?
never have enough gothic horror. Were you crazy? Of course, it's got gothic. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. The more gothic horror it was, the more it really worked with Tom's Doctor. I mean, we saw it with the Brain of Morbius with Sarah Jane,
Yeah.
and that was a very sort of gothic horror story, and it worked well with Leader as well because you also had that, as I said, the My Fair Lady element with Leela, being the savage dressing up in finery and trying to pass off as a English lady. Yeah, this was great. This was quite a shocking reveal. I think this was very Phantom of the Opera as well. So you've got all these crossovers.
JWC says it was a time when Doctor Who was tapping into the greatest genre in cinema, Hammer horror in Pyramids and Morbius, then Sherlock Holmes in Talons. Yeah, I would actually agree with that. I think especially Pyramids, which I love,
Mm.
as you know, that is very kind of Hammer horror like.
Yeah,
Um,
one of my favorites as well. Morbius, all of these. I think the more gothic horror, the horror fan rock as well as another classic, which is somewhat overlooked. I think. I mean,
yeah.
yes, it's got some really really irritating characters that you wish would killed off almost instantly. But apart from that, and the tinsely thing and the light thing and the I like the green glowing thing before you see what it really is. I like all that, the Rutans, um, and the possessions. I like all that. That's great. It's good fun.
JWC says it also introduced two characters so good they lived outside the show.
That's
Jargo
it.
and uh, like
Jago and Lightfoot. Yeah, so
Lightfoot.
Jago and Lightfoot. Yeah, they were a bit like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern from Macbeth. They were side characters that went off and became their own play. So it kind of reminded me of that a bit as well. So a bit of literary reference there. But Jago and Lightfoot are great. You got like a real landed gentry old man who's a lord, and he's very erudite and sophisticated. And then you've got Jago, who's like a bit of a huckster, runs his theatre and is a bit of a shady character. But the two seem to just really sort of
Yeah,
hit it off. It's quite funny that they, after all those years from being in that story, then sort of many many years later being given their own audio dramas. I think that was very, very much testament to their portrayal of those characters. Um, and it was fun. What are you doing?
I told you. I'm cooking dinner. A multi-stream. A multi.
I thought you cooked already.
No, I was waiting on her to tell me if she wanted sweet chili or fucking bleeding soy sauce. She took 10 minutes to give me an answer.
Wow.
Right, so I'm fucking stressed here. I'm fucking starving. I'd eat a horse right now. So is that guest coming on?
Well, yeah.
Or is your chat? What?
Yeah.
What you say?
He's got to transition from one place to another, but he should be on at some point. And he can talk about well, not that kind of transition, no.
Yeah, kind of. I was gonna say weird kind of choice of words. Look, everything is falling out my ears. Sake, man, I just want to sit down. Anyway, yeah, we have a guest coming on. So he's moving from Lee's sitting room into his bedroom or something. So he'll be in a minute.
What?
It's a joke.
Oh God.
Anyway,
yeah.
did Talons inspire the creation of Vastra, Jenny, and Strax, the Victorian detectives of Why is there dirt on my computer? On Pater not Noster roll. Lee,
Wait,
what you
but did you
reckon?
see? Oh yeah, did Talons inspire the creation? Maybe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you could argue that it was a hankering of or towards that Hinchcliffe era. I don't know, Jacob and Lightfoot are for me anyway, infinitely more interesting than a lizard lesbian and her wife and a potato. You know, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
but
you don't like that trio, do you?
I, I, I mean, they were all right for comic relief. Even though I really struggle with seeing Sontarans turn into a comedy potato. You know, it just that's not what the Sontarans were. You know, if you look at the Time Warrior or anything like that,
Yeah,
it just doesn't. It just you know what I mean. It just doesn't fit well for me.
yeah.
I just find it a bit yeah. And again, I don't like the humanoid Silurians. I mean, they're all
No,
humanoid, but I mean,
no.
I don't like the human-looking Silurians thing. I just think that was a mistake. There's been a
Do you
lot of
think that was
mistakes,
one
let's
of the
be
because
honest.
it's that was RTD? Do you think he'll he'll stop with those kind of stupid redesigns and because let's be honest, he actually done a you know not the Sontarans as well. People will argue are not as Sontarany as they should be. They look too like as you said, proper potatoes in jackets or something. It's mad.
Well, I mean, you look at the originals. I mean, we're going off topic here somewhat, but we'll go there anyway. You know, the Centauran design during the RTD era was these short potato
Yeah,
comic warriors who were just like comically infatuated with war. And that really wasn't the case when you saw them originally under Pertwee and Baker. They were tall. Even in Colin Baker, like they were tall. I don't understand where the short thing came from. That just became a thing. Um, yeah, the Centaurus declined after the Centauran experiment. Yeah, I
yeah.
pretty much agree with that. You know, for all its flaws, you know, the Centaurans that they brought in under Chibnall were
They were still Sontarans. Yeah, they
more like
behaved.
the original Centaurans.
Yeah,
But yeah, there was still some sort of comic element. It was a kind of weird fusion between the two. Even though it was a terribly written story, and I stand by that. But yeah, I think this is Talons Weng-Chiang is a good story in the sense that, you know, apart from the giant rat, you don't have many sort of errors of judgment within the story. You know, I think it was really only let down by that more than just about anything else. But on the grand scheme of things, I think it was successful in spite of that. I mean, there are stories within Dot 2 where you have design flaws with
yeah.
monsters and props and things, but you know, apart from the giant rat, I think you can overlook that because it's such a
Yeah.
great story.
Well, Cheryl has actually told me because she's probably listening, just hasn't wrote in. She told me to shut the feck up. She told me to stop talking. I haven't even spoke that much. Telling me to shut up. Link's lifting his helmet off as a kid is all the time memory of mine. That must be in black and not comic for me, says Peter Harrington.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
That was quite a shock. You know, like you take the helmet off, and you know, clearly the best design of a Centauran. It's just never seemed to get them right since. You know, they've sort of declined over the years. You know,
Why?
they've got progressively worse.
Why is that? Why do you
Huh?
think that is? Because, like, if you do watch certain classic episodes, right, you'll see the Sontarans look great in some, right, and then they just look absolutely off. You can tell it's an actual mask, a thing that they. Why do you think there is?
I mean, it could be a
it can't
case
be
of
budget,
maybe
because why
they
not use
had
the original stuff?
they
you
might
know?
have had a different actor, and then the mask didn't fit anymore, or could be a number of reasons. You know, I don't know. I mean, probably people in the chat will know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Just bear with me for a second, just putting the noodles on. I can't believe I'm actually
there is
multitasking here, because apparently blokes are shite at multitasking. There you go. I can.
I concur.
What, blokes got crap
But
at
yeah,
multitasking?
yeah, I am. I know that much. You know, I find it difficult sitting here smoking and talking at the same time. So anyway,
I love that. You're like me, man. I
yeah,
can't even kill that, man. It's weird, isn't it?
right?
Yeah, I know, man. Let's see. Any more comments? We're just waiting on our guest anyway to show up and get their opinion on this story. But yeah, I mean, some of the, as I said, been looking at the photographs of the costumes there and the makeup, and some of it is pretty good, and obviously some of it is pretty feckin' awful. But that's what I was with Classic Who. You know, it was more the writing anyway, wasn't it, Lee? I mean, forget about costumes and how people looked and stuff like that. At the end of the day, this was a solid story. As some will say, a really great story, up there as one of the best.
Well, yeah, it's a reason why, you know, because it was a perfect marriage of Philip Hinchcliffe and Robert Holmes and Tom Baker. This was really, I think, where Leela really got to shine as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've got that perfect understanding of Doctor Who at that time, you know, with the horror element and the darkness and the light of Tom Baker's extraordinary eye-popping expressions and his deep booming voice and his infinite capacity for genius, you know, and
yeah,
and it beat for beat, you know, it's always a joy to watch. It's a shame that we're not watching it tonight, because I could really well be up for that. Yeah, the atmosphere, absolutely, Peter. The atmosphere is what makes it perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the constant
I'll tell you what,
feeling
we'll
of
do a
presence and
one-off.
threat.
Me and you will do a one-off one night, right? Just an extra. We'll call it the Classic WhoZone extra, and we'll do the story. We'll do the story. Me, you, and Jack, because you said Jack likes this story. So the three of us will do it one night. Just give it a couple of weeks. We'll do it in a couple of weeks. See when everybody's scheduled. See if everybody's available, and we'll do it. The three of us will do it, and I'll watch it again, because I haven't actually watched it in a couple of, since we last done it, actually, on the channel.
No, I've got it on the Blu-ray, and I don't have a Blu-ray player yet, so I mean it's sitting there ready to go. But yeah, at the moment, I don't have anything.
You've got a Blu-ray, but no Blu-ray player. Oh.
Well, I've got the box
actually,
set.
you get cheap on an Argos. Well, Argos in the UK, I don't think is closing down. It's just in Ireland. They're closing down Argos over here because they don't want to give us any more cheap stuff, the pricks. No, it's got to do with Brexit. You know, Brexit fucked us up too, because we lose Argos thanks to you voting to leave, which is what right.
Any loss? I mean, Argos isn't as cheap as it used to be. It's just as expensive as anywhere else now. So I don't know how they get away with it. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, maybe some people in the chat could tell us what they really enjoyed about this story.
Exactly. Get involved, folks.
I mean, it's also quite accurate. You know, when you look at the Chinese immigrants in London at the time were often working near the harbours by the river. Oh God. So they were working quite by the docks in the rivers. So that's where a lot of immigrants were. You know, the Irish, the Chinese, the Jews. They were all sort of in the East End of London. That's where they sort of congregated, and that's where they sort of hung around. So you do have those Chinese gangs that were there. That was real.
Yeah.
That did actually happen. Things like that.
The
And
triads.
of course
We
you
have
had,
them here in Dublin.
yeah. And you had the Jews in Brick Lane, where you had the first bagel shops and the first what would you call it? Like they introduced fish and chips.
Yeah, the Italians.
So you had all that going on. No,
Yeah.
the Jews. The Jews.
All right. Well,
fish and
over
chips,
here it was
so
the Italians. The Italians set up this fish and chip shops over.
probably Italian Jews.
Probably. You're probably right though. Look at me on fish and chips.
Yep.
Actually,
Fish and chips were a Jewish invention. You're welcome.
Yeah, I'm not making this shitty little stir fry now, and you have to mention the fish and chips now, and I'm kind of thinking, well, this looks kind of pathetic now. Do I want a fish and chips? So thanks for that.
That's all right.
Right, I'm moving back to the sit room now, so there'll be no more noise now. So just give me, I'm after giving her dinner. So, see, multitask. Men can actually multitask.
They can't really.
Yeah.
They can't.
There you go. We're back. Right. Okay. So, let's see. We got Leland in the chat as well. Says that this is one of their favorite stories. Fantastic. If you want to elaborate on why it's your favorite story, please do, and we'll read out your comment. JWC Review says it was just a great story, atmospheric, great characters, excellent foe, just brilliant. Chipper, supper, yum yum. Don't even get me going now. Why did Lee have to mention the chipper now? I want fucking fish and chips.
Well, I'm sorry. What can I say?
You fucking asshole. Anyway, let's see if this dinner is actually. I cooked this, so if it's not nice, I'll be disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not my best stir fry I've made. Oh, curry sauce! Oh, don't get me started now.
Yeah, I had curry sauce on my fish and chips.
Oh. Yeah. No, don't put it on fit. What are you at? You're as bad as Cheryl. You put curry sauce on your fit. I know you don't put, you put other weird stuff on. Right?
No. I put the curry sauce on the chips,
right,
and I put the tartar sauce on the fish.
All right, Jesus Christ, I thought you were telling me that you put curry sauce on your fucking fish.
No, don't be daft.
Never heard anybody doing that.
Well, no, because I didn't.
Chinese stir fry in honor. Well, actually, it wasn't a plan, but I bought some beef the other day. I was going to use it for a beef stew, but then I decided, you know what, we haven't had a stir fry in ages, so yeah, it's kind of just a coincidence, but people out there that hate me would probably think that I was trying to be racist or something, you know?
Wow.
I just have to keep laughing. Anyway. Let's see. Have we missed? Frying pan, says Daniel.
That's it. Hello, legend. Hello, everyone. By the way, I hadn't said hello.
She can't walk, man, so she won't be able to chase me with a frying pan now. She's got a bandy leg.
But she can pick it up and throw it at you. You know.
Oh! She can throw stuff. No, she can't throw stuff. Cheryl will tell you she has a very bad aim. She'd aim for me and she'd hit the window or something.
Nice.
It's
well. So chat. I mean,
did you hear what she said?
Tell us in the what.
She says, I only hit you by accident, when she doesn't mean it.
Sure. That's what she tells.
Yeah, so there we go. We got. Go ahead.
Dynamism between. I was. The dynamism between Jago and Lightfoot is great. The villain is excellent. Mr. Sin is utterly creepy. The costumes set the piece off to perfection. Absolutely. I mean, guys, you can always tell us in the chat what your favourite scenes are or your favourite bit of dialogue is, if you can remember that. I'm shit, I've got a terrible memory.
Yeah, I'm the same. This is why I'm kind of struggling here. Because I'm struggling to remember dialogue and remember certain things. This is why we will do it. We'll do a Classic Who's On Extra with me, Lee,
Yeah.
and if Jack wants to turn up, then we'll do it, because
All
actually I
part
think
and parcel.
it will be good to go back
Dyslexia.
and relive this
Oh yeah.
story. Anyway, there's another comment by Leland there. He says, "Great tension. I like the vulnerable
Venerable.
Chang, the venerable, sorry, Chang, though understand why the part is dodgy by today's standards, but still well played.
You can't
What's
take that
wrong with
away from
curry
him.
sauce on fish? I had Thai curry and fish. No, 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 no. That's all right. We're talking about fish and chips out of a chip shop with
Yeah.
batter on it. So
Yeah.
no, you don't put. But yes, you're right. Thai fish curry is actually fucking lovely. But we won't get
I've only
into
had green
foods.
Thai chicken curry.
And
Hmm.
Chris there had mod saying, "Share the love, share the love." Peter was 14 apparently at the time, and who was on such a high, especially when the previous Hinchcliffe Holmes season. It was a lovely end to their relationship. The Victorian era is beautiful, creepy time to set it. Oh, you're right. Do you, Lee? Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I mean, absolutely perfectly said. And to have been 14 when that was on would have been just awesome. But for me, obviously, I missed out. Was I unalive when it came out? When did it come out? 75, 74? I can't remember. No, it's 70. No, hold on, 75.
77.
Must have been 76. Is it 77? All right, so I would have been alive, but I would have been too. I might have seen it, and I wouldn't remember because I would have been too young. But no, my earliest memory was Destiny of the Daleks. Doesn't mean to say that I didn't see any Doctor Who before that, but that was the one that stuck in my head.
Actually,
So I am jealous. I am very
yeah.
jealous because I only got 2 seasons of Tom Baker. Really that I could remember and fell in love with, and then he was gone, and I was
Yeah, but
heartbroken.
what a
I saw
time
this
you were
blonde
born,
guy,
though.
and
You
I was
still got to
like, yeah,
see Tom Baker, and you
I
got to meet
know.
him.
Yeah, not the best meeting, to say. But I forgave
Yeah,
him.
what did he say to
He
you
was
again?
pissed.
What was it? You were opening the door or something. You were going out, and he was coming out
I,
the door. What was it?
It was I think it was my first full day working in front of house in the West End, at the Queen's Theatre in Shaftesbury Avenue. It's for Prisoner Subblock H, the musical Lily Savage. And I was left on my own, and it was, 95. So it was like the height of the IRA scares, bombs and all
Mm-hmm.
that kind of stuff. So we weren't allowed to move from I wasn't allowed to move from my position. I was the only person there at the main entrance in the foyer. So I was just standing there like a plum. And then in staggers Tom Baker with his wife, absolutely pissed out of his mind, red faced, all the lot. He was quite an imposing. I was just like in awe, because bloody hell, it's Tom Baker.
Right.
And he was like, "Where's the bar?" And I was just like, looked over to my left where the bar was. And of course, there's the velvet rope there, because there were no bar staff there or anything. And
Yeah.
the manager was upstairs. I was on my own. I said, "I'm sorry, it's closed." And he said, "What do you mean it's closed? I'm here to see Lily Savage. Who's in my friend Lily Savage? Get me the manager." So I just faffed off to get the manager, like absolutely mortified. Brought the manager downstairs or upstairs. I can't remember where she was. Yeah, she was downstairs. And he said, "This streak of piss wouldn't let me go to the bar." I was I was mortified. I could have died in my shoes. I could have just melted there and then. I was just and she just opened the rope, profusely apologising, taking him down and serving him a drink, because I couldn't have done that anyway, because I would have left the foyer completely abandoned. So either way, I was doing my job, and he was pretty nasty to me. I forgave him. Hello, Jack.
Hello, Jack.
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry, I'm
How
late.
you doing? That's all right.
You're gonna
So,
have to
you wanna
speak
talk-
up.
Is
There we
that
go.
better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's better. So you want to tell us about what you love about Talons of Weng-Chiang?
Well, it's just a great story, really. I didn't think too much of it as a kid because, when you're a kid, you just want monsters and stuff. But then I gave it a rewatch when I was 14 because I was getting really bored. Moffat was just the worst ever, and I thought, you know what, it's time to watch some more Classic Who. And I rewatched it, and I thought it was great. It was it was one of the best stories from the past. I think. I think it creates the atmosphere and the feel of the time really well, which is a very difficult thing to do. I think it has one of the best villains in the show's history. I think Mr. Sin, I'm sure, is what inspired the Saw puppet because it's quite similar.
Yeah.
Um, I think the whole idea of it being racist is utterly stupid. They didn't have Chinese actors in the country who would have done the baddie justice, so they had to hire a British actor, but he never did something racist or caricaturized it in any way. And yeah, there were actual Chinese actors in the story, so if they had a problem with it, I'm sure there would have
They
been an
would have
uproar,
spoke up.
which
Yeah.
they didn't, because back then we could laugh at each other, which is something we're not allowed to do anymore. So it's a really great story. I think Magnus Greel is probably one of the best villains in the whole show. It's a kind of a shame he died at the end. I think the sets are brilliant, especially that set with the giant dragon. Yeah, I think that was
Oh,
pretty
that's great.
impressive for something as small as Doctor Who. So
Yeah.
you can tell that they just gave it their all, and I think it's a great finale to probably one of the best seasons in the show. I struggle to find fault with it. A lot of people think the giant rat is really ridiculous. I actually thought it looked quite good at the time,
The
like
documentary that showed the
quite
making
creepy.
of the rat was quite interesting, wasn't it? Because I remember seeing that on the extras for the
Yeah,
Blu-ray,
the
wasn't it? They
DVD.
showed you all
Oh,
the
they're the
design.
yeah.
Yeah,
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 it's a big puppet with
they,
a guy in there.
yeah. They struggled somewhat with that, Let's be honest.
And I
But
really
yeah, I
love
mean, look, go big or go home.
I really love the scenes in the sewer tunnels. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty good. You can tell they're actually there. You've even got water in there as well, which Leela's
Yeah.
getting but held in by the rat. I think atmospherically, you can tell a lot of love went into it, and it had two side characters that were so popular they got their own audio series,
Yep,
which
yep.
surprises me, especially in modern times because they're
Yeah,
British.
side
So,
characters don't really grab the
White and old
attention, Jack,
males.
do they? Ordinarily. But in some cases, as you said yourself, there are times where that might actually happen. I didn't actually know that until tonight.
yeah,
Uh,
it's Jago and Lightfoot, the
hmm.
audio adventures. I mean, I don't know if they're still going. Did one of them sadly pass recently?
Yes, yeah. It was oh God, what's his name? The one who played Lightfoot, wasn't it? Hold on, let me think. Trevor Baxter.
Trevor Baxter.
Yeah. Trevor
But
Baxter's the one
overall,
who
I'd say
played the
this
part.
is top 10 for the whole show, possibly even top 5. I struggle.
Seriously?
I struggle to choose between this and Deadly Assassin as Tom Baker's best story.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, great story.
Would you put Genesis in there as well? Obviously, you put Genesis in there as well.
No, it's overrated.
What?
No, it's good, but it's not top 5 material.
Oh my God! This is a whole different stream. What are you at?
I know,
You-
I'm an individual, right? I don't just follow the fandom.
Yeah, right. I've got to understand this. So, just briefly, if you can, why is Genesis overrated?
It was dragged out 2 episodes longer than it needed to be, I felt. The Daleks, I think Davros is the best bit. The conversations that Tom has with him and the other Khaleds is really great. But when it becomes just constantly going backward and forward from the Thal Dome, it gets a bit tedious. It's not that it's bad, it's just that there are better stories like Deadly Assassin, Seeds of Doom, which is very underrated, and Talons. I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying when people say...
No. It's just interesting to hear your point of view, because I think you're the first person I've ever came across. I'm not messing. In all my time in this fandom, I've never heard anybody say that. And it's just actually interesting to say. And now that you actually say, you're probably right. Probably is an episode or two.
I'm just going to say,
too long.
When people say Genesis is the best Dalek story, I have to scratch my head, because it's not a Dalek story, it's a Davros story, it's a prequel to the Daleks. The Daleks only get about 5 minutes of screen time in the whole story. So if you're going to count that as the best, you mustn't be a fan of the Daleks.
Well, what do you think the best Dalek story is, then?
Well, for me, in Classic Who or the whole show?
Well, go with the whole show, go on.
I'd say
Start with Classic.
It would have to be either Dalek or Parting of the Ways. I just think they've never been more of a threat, to me.
And in Classic Who?
It's kind of unstoppableness to them, really. But for Classic Who, that's really difficult, because I think it's a bit of a three-way tie between the original Daleks from Hartnell.
Yeah, like that story.
Remembrance of the Daleks from McCoy, and a strange pick, I'm not sure if many people agree, but Day of the Daleks, which seems to be very overlooked.
Yeah.
Pertwee, yeah.
Pertwee one, yeah.
I thought it was brilliant. I only saw it the first time about 3 years ago. I picked up the DVD and I couldn't stop watching it. It's like the Terminator before the Terminator, but with Daleks in it.
Actually, I have to give that story another go, because he is right. That is one of those obscure stories that they don't really talk about. That one, Day of the Daleks, really.
It was better than the other two travesties from the Pertwee era.
No, yeah.
Planet and they were awful.
Look, as Jack said, right, and he's right. He is an individual. He has his own opinions. I wouldn't necessarily agree, but that's the whole point. He does have his own opinions on it, and you know what? It's refreshing to hear a different opinion on Genesis. I wouldn't necessarily. I would agree with you on the point that maybe it's an episode too long. I'd agree with you on that.
I heard there's a movie version of it where it's condensed down. I would love to have that on DVD, if that's possible.
I think that was on YouTube. Someone posted it on YouTube, didn't they, ages ago?
Did they?
I don't know. Yeah,
I think what they did was they fixed the they condensed it down, and they fixed the sort of what's the term, so it doesn't drag. They just got some bits that didn't really need to be there without ruining any of the story. So I'm like, if I watch that version, that might improve it. But I'm not saying it's bad. It's still top 10, but I'd say it's probably number 10 or number 9 for me.
It's interesting to hear your point of view. I have to be honest. I've never heard it before. But look, we do. I mean, look, I love in New Who. I love of Monsters, and I take a lot of stick for that. But I love that story. It's just, to me, it's underrated. In my opinion, I actually think if you don't take it too seriously. But there is an actual serious underlying story in that. That's why I love that. But I get a little bit of stick for loving monsters. So we all have different tastes. Some people will like certain stories, and some people will have certain stories as in their top 10 list, and other people will. No, yeah, that should be wiped off the history. I mean, this is what I have to put up with, right? This one not only loves that, she loves Velma as well, apparently.
Oh my god, I'm gonna rewatch it again, but so I can binge it all in one sitting. So good, it was hilarious.
See what I mean?
Why do you hate men?
Don't start that conversation with her, please. Do not start any of that now. I'm not putting up with this shit, man. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Yeah, laughing non-stop. I laugh non-stop. Where are you going? Oh, you're going. Okay. Do you need that? Okay. You don't need that. Okay. See.
Peter Harrington says the LP is condensed. Yeah, I mean, before Genesis of the Daleks was on video, the BBC released a double cassette tape release of Genesis of the Daleks, and that was primarily where I, latched onto, because we didn't have access to Tom Baker stories apart from when I was at my Doctor Who club at school.
Yeah.
So that was a way of, getting all my Tom Baker fix. So I'd play it to death. So I mean, Genesis of the Daleks was really the only connection I had to Tom Baker available to me as a kid, and so that I was grateful for that. So for me, Genesis of the Daleks has a very big place in my heart because that was the one story that I had available to me that I could play over and over and over again. So there is that. So I think it is very much something that you're laughing at.
I'm laughing at that comment from Leland. Do you know what makes it even worse? Yesterday, I was feeling a bit nostalgic and kid-like, and I wanted to watch a movie from my childhood that I really enjoyed and makes me happy inside. So I decided to watch Flight of the Navigator. And of course, I was watching it in here, and she was in the room. She comes out and she goes, "Are you watching Flight of the Navigator?" I go, "Yeah, I am. Yeah, I love that movie." "That movie is rubbish." I'm like,
oh, wow.
What the hell did I marry, man? Seriously, Flight of the Navigator? That's ground for divorce. Man, this is a woman that says I have shit taste in movies and she loves Grease too.
And Velma.
Grease bleeding too. And Velma. Get the bleeding boat, man. Right, I wanted to, seriously, man. So I was watching the movie, and she kind of nearly ruined it for me when she said that. Like, I was like, fucking hell. Anyway, back to this. No, Cheryl clearly has a fever. She's talking nonsense. The return of Dr. Mysterio, Velma. Give her 2 Panadol and let her lay down. Chris Persia.
Now we want Grease too.
Oh, see what I told? See? Fucking
She's
lunatic.
a sick woman.
Oh, she wants to tell me something.
I want to whisper sweet
She wants to whisper sweet evil talk in the ear. So I'll let you two talk there for a second. Go ahead.
Right. Well, do you want to add anything to that then, Jack, about Talons, of which we're here for?
Yeah, sorry, I diverted a bit there. No, it's great. Really, I think I've said everything I need to say on it.
What was your favourite scene or scenes?
I think it has to be when the rat has Leela. To be honest, I don't know why. It's just kind of funny.
For all the wrong reasons.
It's so cute. The rat is so cute. It's just the horrifying noise it makes.
It kind of reminds me a bit of the Box of Delights, which came much later in the 80s. But like,
offended watching something, you won't get offended.
People are talking. Shh.
Sorry.
Go ahead, Lise. I'm very sorry for the rudeness of my wife.
Lee. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you interrupt Lee. There's hell to pay, right?
No, I would interrupt Lee on purpose. You, yes.
Yeah, of course you do.
I'm used to it. Don't worry.
You know what? There's definitely serious grounds for divorce here.
I'm gonna be popular.
Oh, jeez. Do you know what's funny? She's lifting up that leg that she hurt, yeah, and now she's nearly at the tripping over its head now. See this. She stresses me out. She doesn't realize how stressed she makes me. You're injured. Will you sit down, woman?
I'm learning to twerk.
Twerking in me face and all Jordan live streams, man. The woman has lost her plot, man. You know what?
In a broken sweat, in joggers.
Never ever listen for a woman that's gone out all the time to not being able to go out.
Bored.
She has turned into a mad psychopath.
I'm bored.
Yeah, Yeah, just please, just give me 5 minutes to be myself. Anyway. Lee will forgive Cheryl if they share a bottle of wine.
Okay.
I'm gonna need more than a bottle of wine.
Fly over?
She wants to fly over to you now, Lee.
Can I come hang out with you for a night? We'll have like a little dusty day.
We have to go out party.
He said that you'll have to go out partying with him instead. He won't bring you back to his cafe because you're not good enough to grace his home.
That's not at all what he said. Shush! Ted. I know for a fact he did not say that.
No, he didn't say
Dusty
that.
date with me, yay!
Right, stop acting like a 12-year-old. Take that muppet with you, right, and let me finish my stream in peace. Thank you very much. Well, they might be hurtful. Yeah, my words might be hurtful. My words are nuclear bombs. Remember not to mess with me. Okay? Now. See you, Ted! You little fucking psychopath tried to bite me today.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was going out shopping just before we get back to the Doctor Who stuff. So I was going out shopping because, as you know, I've had to go shopping now that Cheryl is injured. So I went in to ask her, is there anything that I need to pick up? And he jumped off the bed, right? Ran towards me, jumped at me legs, right? To try snap. Now he missed because I jumped out of the way, right? But because Cheryl was asleep and because I woke her up, Ted was having none of that.
Because you startled me and you were wearing a hoodie in the dark. And I leaped onto the ceiling and had like tears, and my dog was going to protect me with his life.
Oh, please, just will I just jump out a window or an
I will give you a
airplane?
helping hand.
Yeah. Do you want to book me a ticket to Amsterdam?
You don't have a passport, but I do.
Oh shit! I got chili in my eye.
Oh my god! What the hell is going on? Oh my god! How did you do that?
Oh, I'm not messing. I actually got chili in my eye. Will you give us
I'm
some?
working on it.
Oh,
I can only move so fast.
it's sweet chili sauce in me
It
eye.
doesn't make me move any faster. I still haven't given you money.
Do you know what? She's just deliberately being evil. Did you wet it?
Yes, I wet it.
Okay, in Ireland and the UK, we wet the tissue paper.
Oh my god, use it.
This is going off the rails now. Oh god!
Right, take him out. Go on, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I just have to make myself cry. Someone say something sad.
You're over dramatic.
We're very professional
Something
here,
sad?
aren't we?
You want to hear something sad? I'm going back to America this year for like 6 months.
That's not sad. That's fucking joyous. I'll book you a fucking ticket.
No, my parents aren't. I'm gonna call them right now.
Anyway, so let's get back to the comments in the comment section. We got Peter Harrington who said,
Speaking of jumping through windows,
yeah, reminds me of 8 years later. Also finding out in a scene a car is covered in straw and dung in the streets is funny, says Peter Harrington, and my eyeball is completely on fire here, folks. So I'll just let Jack and Lee talk there while I do something with me.
I didn't know that there was a car covered in straw. Is that like something that they made a big boo-boo? I had no idea. I have to rewatch
Probably.
it. And,
There's a few bloopers, all right. When I was looking at the trivia, there was a couple of bloopers as well there, so could be one of them. Oh my god! Right, I think I might be okay for now, but that's not that. Me
So
eye is like on fire.
You've been blinded live on stream.
Well, yeah. Well, nobody will actually see me being blinded, but I'll probably, if this keeps up, I'll probably have to end up going to the hospital because it's really burning me eyelids now.
Yeah, why don't you go and wash it out?
She's given me some kitchen
wash?
paper, but believe it or not, water will make it worse.
No, you need you probably need some saline.
I'll have to use
solution.
milk on my eye. Jack is right. That's exactly what I'd have to use. Milk. Anyway,
can you
forget
imagine
about me eye. If I
it's
lose
off.
me eye, it's grand. I have the other eye, right? Then I'll actually look like a
You'd be like
pirate.
Davros.
So that'd be pretty cool. Well, everybody thinks
Nice.
I'm evil out there. Remember, we were called Satan at one stage, so I suppose Davros. You know, if I was
You can
called
wear an eye
Davros.
patch. can wear an eye
I
patch.
just seen a predator. I just seen a predator flash on the screen there. Sorry, predator. There's no Terminators around here.
That's so cool.
I'm an
I
human.
love the way that lights up.
I do. I have to say, if you haven't checked out Jack's videos, actually, he does a lot of these videos where he reviews all of this stuff. And he's done other streams as well on crystals and relaxation and stuff like that. So if you're into all of that stuff, I mean, everybody's into toys anyway. So yeah, check out his channel. And if you know, life is very stressful nowadays and stuff like that, you know, and he does some streams there with people that, you know, have techniques to help you get through stressful day and stuff like that. So if you're into all of that, you know, check out Jack's streams on his channel. If one of the mods could actually throw in Jack's channel there while he's here.
It's in there.
I'm sure we give you a shout out anyway every stream. We don't forget you. We always give you a shout out anyway.
I haven't forgotten you guys. I've just got so much going on.
Oh, no, it's grand. You sent me a message, man, to tell me that you were busy. Look, it's grand. Super Doctor's the same. He's been extremely busy as well. We all have lives, you know, so we do get busy sometimes, Jack.
Oh,
so
except when it's me. When I've got a life, you're like, oh, well, you
well,
traitor.
yeah, well, the difference is, no. The difference is,
yes.
The difference is that like you've been with me from nearly day one now, so like, you know, when you know the rules, right, and when you don't follow the rules, and fair enough, we had this conversation. Fair enough, yeah, it wasn't planned, right? That can happen, but I mean, to give me an hour notice, man, is not. Come on. No, I'm not going wow. You know what?
It's fine when everyone else gives you an hour's notice, or like 10 minutes notice, or like 5 minutes notice. But me, an hour's no.
Excuse me, I have that same conversation with other people, but that has given me an idea, though. It has actually given me an idea. I'm going to probably need a stand-in. So whenever Lee can turn up, or Chris can turn up, or Christian can turn up, or any of the people on the panel can turn up, we're gonna have to get a couple of stand-ins in. So if anybody is interested, you see the schedule down below. Obviously for the streams, New Who will be fine. I reckon Classic Who was just a bit mad, but for Friday night contacts, Friday nights can be busy for people, for Chris and Lee sometimes, right? Something might pop up. So if you're interested in being a stand-in host, whenever these guys don't stream, send me a message. Let me know that you're interested. We'll see how many people come to me first. And then what I'll do is I'll have a word with Chris and Lee, and we will choose. And there'll be no favoritism going on either. We will just pick, and that's the end of it, right?
Well, I might actually get chosen then.
So, do you want to actually be? Well, you're here, so if you give me an answer now, then it's sorted. So right, well, Friday night contact basically is we come on and we discuss everything that's going on in Hollywood. So DC. So this week in particular, well, I think Lee and Chris will be available this week, but if one of them doesn't turn up, what we'll be talking about is we'll be talking about the Flash trailer. We'll be looking at all the pictures, all the posters that they released for the movie. We'll be talking about all the other stuff that happened during Super Bowl halftime, basically, all the trailers and stuff like that. So that's what we're doing this week on Friday Night Contact. We'll be talking the Flash movie and Guardians of the Galaxy. And Karen Gillan has no boobies now. Our character has no boobies. They took our boobies away. You can't have women with boobies anymore. Disney's telling us you can't have women with boobies anymore. So they've taken our boobies. So that's the big controversy surrounding Guardians of the Galaxy is the fact that Karen Gillan's character no longer has her boobs. So we'll be discussing that.
Isn't that more offensive? Because you have to CGI someone's body. Isn't that body shaming?
Well, yes, technically it would be, Jack. But Hollywood are a bunch of hypocrites, mate. They tell us it's hypocritical if we do it, but if they do it, it's not hypocritical, mate. So, they look at Hollywood has. Listen, there's a clip that I'm going to play on Friday for you. It's Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg. No, it is. It's Tom Cruise and Steven Spielberg? I think it's Steven Spielberg. And he literally tells, and you can hear him say this to Tom Cruise: you saved Hollywood with Maverick. You saved their asses. You saved this industry's asses with that movie. Like, that's Steven Spielberg, considered one of the greatest directors, well, especially in the 80s. I suppose the 80s and the 90s was his heyday.
70s.
But 70s as well, yeah, we'd have to stick the 70s
Jaws.
in there as well. But exactly, Jaws. So the
Cam.
heyday, 70s, 80s, and 90s was his heyday. Right, if you have a man as powerful as him telling an actor, well, you literally saved their skins, you saved this industry because of your movie. It just goes to show you, not only do they all know that the industry is on their the last legs, they're still repeating the same fucking mistakes. So why don't they take a leaf out of Tom Cruise's book and his production team and say, well, all audience want is to be entertained? Why did Maverick work? Why did Maverick work? Even if Maverick wasn't called Top Gun Maverick, right? That movie still would have worked. Why would it have worked? Because there was no fucking agenda, right? There was nothing. It was a good, solid story. It wasn't even the most fucking complicated plot either, by the way. It was a basic fucking plot. But you had great actors and actresses in it, and you had a lot of action in it. And that Maverick had a lot more heart than Top Gun did. I have to be honest. I think Maverick is better than Top Gun. I think without a shadow of a doubt, Maverick is the better movie. Top Gun, now you watch it, is a cheesy piece of crap. So at least with Maverick is a decent folk. That's how you do a sequel. That's how you do when you leave a movie that long. That's how you do a sequel. He did save the industry, and I'll be talking about that on Friday, because I do believe that Tom Cruise is single-handedly holding up Hollywood with the Mission Impossible franchise and this fucking movie Maverick. Seriously, he's holding up Hollywood right now on his fucking shoulders. He is the GOAT. I said it, and I'll say it again. He is the last true movie star that we have, and he's still pumping out great movies. He has done a few duds, I won't lie, but majority of these movies are great. But I tell you, you mean that was real? Yeah, it's a real video. Yeah, you saved the industry. You saved theaters. He did. That movie made that money because he went and told people, if you want to be entertained, go and watch Maverick. And that's what people did do. And it did made a shit ton of money. I'd love to see another Maverick movie or sequel to that, but they probably ruin it, so probably kind of thinking leave it. You hit gold with that one. Maybe leave it now. But anyway, back to this story. Back to Tom Baker.
I just saw the Chris saying that there's a difference. You're the Felix Unger of Noel's Oscar Madison. The odd couple. It's cool. I'm Jack Lemmon, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, this is why me and Lee. I mean, it's funny, me and Lee's story how we met originally, because we argued. That's how we got to know each other.
Still arguing.
Yeah, we had an argument. It's typical. Yeah. And look, as I said, Lee is one of my. I consider one of my best friends. He's always had me back, and he's a nice man. He'll give anybody the time of day. And, even when people were telling him not to engage with the other side of the fandom, and I was one of them because I thought it was a waste of time, it still didn't stop him. He still tried to see if we could all get on. So, Lee is one of those people in the fandom that doesn't get the credit that he deserves. He gets a lot of flack on Twitter off that mob, but he's done a lot to try bring both sides of the fandom together, and it should be recognised. It should be recognised. I mean, he's tried so hard. It's been thrown back at him so many times. I don't even know why he still continues to try, but he will. Because that's who Lee is. And he's still being attacked on Twitter, by the way, folks. It's I just don't I don't know, man. Elon, just sell Twitter and buy Manchester United. There you go. There's your problem solved, man. Just get rid of Twitter. You don't need it. It's a cesspool, man. Anyway, Jack, how are you? We haven't had you on in a while. How are you getting on? How is everything?
Do you really want to know?
No, go on. No, well, go on. Yes, yeah. Why not? Yeah, if you've got stuff to get off your chest, go ahead, man. How have you been?
Well, my granddad's on death's door. My grand's been in and out of hospital, and things aren't too good for me at the moment.
Yeah, I am. My grandparents, they're all dead now, but man, I was very close to my grandmother and my granddad on my dad's side. Yeah, man, it's a difficult situation, all right, man. What can you say?
We've been told that he's getting better. Actually, out of nowhere, he seemed to have just sort of swung back. So, yeah, he might come home, which is great news.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed, man. I mean, if he's after taking a turn for the better, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
It's a good sign, man. It's a good sign. I don't like hospitals half of the time anyway, but I don't like hospitals now, especially with that virus going around, but yeah, I mean, if he's after taking a turn for the good, that's a good sign, man. Hopefully you can get him home. I know there's nothing worse, man. There's nothing worse. What can you really say,
I've just read an article in a Wall Street Journal. Okay, just to lighten the mood for everybody. It's like
why he's talking about
the headline.
Stuff. You could talk. Go on.
The headline. I had to say it because this is madness, right?
Right, go on.
Wall Street Journal. To save money, maybe you should skip breakfast.
Oh yeah, that's going to be part of me internet madness video today. I actually have that ready to go. Yeah, I've seen that, and I have some other whopper ones as well. Apparently, they want to abolish families as well because it's steeped in whiteness.
So, yeah. People of color can't have families. Is that what you're saying?
Apparently, it's what. Well, it's the media. I mean, they contradict themselves and come across as racist, but apparently we're the racist, Jack. It's funny. It's funny. Well, it's not actually funny. It's actually disgusting. It's the same with this. I don't want to actually, dwell on it too much, but obviously, as if you're seeing on Twitter, we've heard the news about that young girl that was stabbed, and there are certain activists out there that are using the death of this girl as propaganda, and I think it's absolutely disgusting. The police have already said it's not a hate crime. It's a knife crime. UK has had a problem. Gobby agreed with me on this. UK has had a problem with knife crime for a long time, okay? And it hasn't been really tackled. It was a knife crime. It wasn't a hate crime. No matter how much you try and make it sound like it was not a hate crime. You need to stop. This is a day where we all need to be coming together, not for people to be using that situation as propaganda to spew your bile and your absolute rubbish, right? And I've seen it because Lee gets that bile and absolute rubbish aimed at him, okay? So you need to stop. It ain't a hate crime, okay? It was a knife crime, and it'll be treated as such. Okay? So leave it out, all you activists, right? Because an innocent person is now not with us. Okay? So let's get a bit of context here. Okay? As soon as everybody found that this girl was trans, all of these activists jumped up, bleeding idiots. Shut your mouth. Keep your mouth closed, because you're doing more damage than actual good to that community, and you ought to be ashamed of yourselves for using this situation. But I don't actually. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. There is no end to his depravity. I mean, the stuff that I've said, to tell a gay man that they cannot exist anymore. I mean, if you can't see the bigotry in that, if you can't see that that's hate, well, yous have totally lost me, because it is. Right? Lee is being himself. And basically what you're telling him is that he cannot be himself. Who the fuck do you think you are? Sorry.
Well, the
I
good
didn't
thing
want to
is,
bring it up during this. It's just I sick again today. I scroll through my Twitter and I look at your feed and I see all of this shit thrown at you. And then I seen the latest one and I'm like, what is going on in this world? No, seriously though, what is going on in this world, right? Bottom line is this,
the good
right?
thing. No, I'm just gonna say, like, the good thing is there used to be a Google document that was readily available, and it showed literally thousands of screenshots of tweets about woke homophobia and all this kind of, cis gay men, all this kind of stuff, and really nasty stuff from the trans activists. But it was taken down for ages, but it's back up again, and it's had over 5,000 new additions to it. So it's funny, because it's like I've never been so happy to see so much homophobia, because it's there to prove,
right, man,
how toxic it is.
Not in the day and age that we're living in. There should be none of that going on at all. There should be none of that. There should be no racial divide. There should be no hate. There should be nothing. But this is driven by people on the radical left, and I've had enough, man. It's even infiltrated their fucking country and the politics of my country too. I've had enough, right? This is an imported fucking ideology from America, right? That's where it should stay. It has no business of being in our society or anywhere else, right? It's hateful, right? They're calling us the bad Germans. They're the ones that are putting people on lists and telling people that they can't be themselves and take away books and rewriting history. Like, wake up. Right? Fucking sick of it, man. I'm sorry, didn't mean to get into this, but again, every day I go on to it's just fucking sickening, man. It's sickening. This society, it's finished. It's finished. You know what? If it's not aliens, I did me member stream. If it's not aliens, right? Don't give a shit what it is, right? But just drop the nuke now. Get it done. Just do it now. Get it done and over with. Then whoever survives, then they're obviously going to be the ones that are the smartest ones that were in our society, and maybe they can rebuild and do it properly, because we've screwed up big time. Anyway, we'll leave it there, because I don't want to get in. And I always skip breakfast anyway, so I don't know I'm not doing any harm to the environment so they can go infect themselves. Right? I don't eat breakfast. I stopped eating breakfast when I was a teenager.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut across Jack like that. I mean, it's clearly that's not good, what's going on. But hey, look, we have gone off on a tangent. I think we should.
Anyway, let's let Jack finish what he was going to say. Anyway, Jack, you back? Oh. Did you upset Jack now?
Probably.
Yeah.
I upset lots of people.
Yeah, well, you go and apologise to Jack for cutting across him there. Anyway, I can hear you smoking as well.
Oh, yeah.
Chris says, I don't know, Noel, if aliens did drop a nuke, the survivors would look like the Toxic Avenger. Oh, for fuck's sake, we can't win, can we? We can't win. I'm pretty sure Greta and her cult will survive anyway, and the first thing they will do is they will start protesting against the aliens for real. Well, we say that, and then a train with toxic chemicals derailed in Ohio, sorry, and not a word from Greta and her cult about it. They've stayed completely silent. They don't care about the environment, by the way. This is one thing I have to let you understand about climate activists. They actually don't care about the environment. A lot of this stuff that they're proposing ruins the environment. Read up on it. Anyway, Jack is back. So, Jack, anything else? What else have you been up to since we last spoke to you?
Not really much. I'm working on my drawings for the greetings card company I'm hoping to work for.
Oh, yeah, you did mention that the last time. Have you any sneak peek for any of us here, or is it under wraps?
It has to be under wraps.
Oh,
because,
yeah, because then
if the designs get leaked, then I'm kind of buggered.
Right. But have you been working on any other art that you can show us?
I mean, I've done this one which I thought was pretty crap, but I mean,
well, whack it up. Yeah, you know what they say. You're always your own worst critic.
I'll have to send it to you because I haven't got it on my.
Not a bother. Yeah, send it to me on Twitter there, and I'll go into Twitter now as we're speaking.
Oh yeah, there was that weird thing, Noel, where I haven't been able to get you in DMs.
Yeah,
I'm not sure why.
I don't know why that's even a thing, because I'm following you, you're following me, so there should be no.
Yeah.
There should be no.
I'll send it to you, Lee.
Okay.
No, hang on. We have to sort that out, because I don't know why you can't reply to me. I would never. I don't block anybody unless they're one of these haters. So I don't even know how that's
I can send it you on Instagram. I don't know. It's a funny glitch that happened.
Right, well, hold on. I'll see if I could send you a message now on Twitter. So I'm going to send you a message right now and see if it works. Because I did try send a message on the ClassicWhoZone chat that we have, and it wouldn't. One particular post wouldn't. I'll just write, can you read this? There, okay. There you go. Oh, I didn't even spell can't. What the hell did I even write? There, I sent it to you anyway, and it says it's sent. So, see if you could send that picture now. I don't know why you can't send me stuff. That's weird.
No, but it's like it's come through, but I can't read anything you send. It's just blank.
Oh, I think I know what it might be. When we all in a group together, and then.
Yeah, I left the group.
You left the group. But how is that affecting you sending me private messages?
Yeah, I know, it's weird. But when I go onto your Twitter, your option for DMs isn't there for me.
That's weird.
That is weird. I'm going to have to... does anybody know what there is, or know how I can actually fix that, remedy that? Because seriously, that's on you. But it has said you sent me a photo, so hold on, I have a photo here. Okay. Aww. We love the wabbits. We love the wabbits. Right, here we go, folks. We got the wabbits. Oh,
that's lovely.
I know, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that one.
That's lovely.
It is.
Nearly scrunched it up a couple of times.
Well, why? Well, you're, as I said, the artists and creators are their own worst critics anyway. You know? So, I mean, you probably think it's not great, but I think it is. I like your wabbits. Yes. Right. Let's see if there's any more. Yeah, it says new message. So hold on. Oh no, that is that one.
It's the
Okay.
same one, yeah.
Same one. Twice, yeah. Well, do you want me to put that one up as well? Is it two
No,
different
it's
colors?
exactly this. It's
All
exactly the
right.
same.
Okay.
I mean, I've done some action figure photography. If you want to see that.
Yeah, go on. Send me photographs. Go on. Yeah, this is your time to talk because we haven't had you on in a while. So if there's any stuff you want to highlight and showcase, and as we said, we'll plug your channel as well. We get people to watch our videos and stuff. So let me. Oh, okay. Very good. I do like these Predator figures. They're ugly looking motherfuckers though. Let's be honest about it. Ugly motherfuckers. Cool. Man, that looks like one of my ex-girlfriends. Fuck's sake. Nice, man. Nice. So you obviously took the photographs here. Did you add this piece here? This 4.
Oh no, it
here.
comes with that.
Okay. Nice. The detail on that is actually pretty good, isn't it?
That's great, isn't it? It's very, very detailed.
Yeah. Yeah, you can even see the eyes there. I've just noticed that now as well. Wow, it is actually very detailed. Very good, Jack. Very good, man. Right, let's have a look at the... You've sent me more, obviously, have you?
Yeah.
Right, here's another one. Yeah, he has. Sorry, the reason why I have to keep backing out, guys, because it's a bit of a glitch with Twitter and StreamYard, where is if I try to move the arrow across, it glitches on me. So I have to do each picture individually. So just bear with me. Like today when we were doing the photographs of Shooty's costume. And there's another picture of the two lads, one maskless, and they're chilling out there. They're having bro hugs there, and they're like, "Yo, man, what's up? Did you see that chick over there? Wasn't she great?" Yeah.
I think it's more Noel's drunk and Lee's helping him home.
No. It'd be the other way around because I'd drink Lee under the table, so it'd be me still carrying him home. Trust me, it wouldn't be the other way around. Okay. There's no way he drinks me under the table.
That sounds like a throwdown to me.
Well, maybe. Well, maybe we should do another stream of drinking.
God.
Could you imagine? No way, man. That would not end well. Right, let's go to the next photo. But there you go. Two bros hanging out there after a night out. And here's another one. And finally, my eye is starting to tear up now, which is great. And we've got a zombie out of it. I'm assuming The Walking Dead.
Evil Dead.
Oh, Evil Dead. Okay. There you go. Just got to show how much I fucking know. But oh man, that's deadly. Where'd you do that, in your back garden or something?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. That's very good, man. It is, and look at the clouds in the background. He's got a bit of the sun there as well. Actually, look at the bright cloud in the background. It actually looks like someone has their head tilted back. Look.
Oh yeah.
Nice one.
It was a nice evening, so I thought I'd sort of recreate a scene from the film.
Nice. I like this stuff. You should throw all those images together and throw them up on your channel as a little slideshow.
I do at the end of my reviews. I do a little slideshow of the figures in different poses.
I can imagine. Anyway, if you've any more there, Jack, you're more than welcome to share. But if you do enjoy Jack's artwork, and you should check out his videos. As I said, I was there for one of the one of the streams where he had a guest on, and they were talking about it was crystals and all of that stuff. Um, I'm not going to say I'm a huge fan or believer in it, but to listen to their stories and talk. Look, that stuff. People. It works for people. And that I suppose is the whole point. It'll work for some and it won't for others. Others will find other avenues to find inner peace and stuff like that. Some people, use religion. People like myself, me. I just listen to music. I'm just basic. I don't really need any mental work. I got plenty of that done as a teenager when I lost the plot a little bit. Won't get into it, but let's just say, I've been through the ringer, been through the system, as they say. But it's stuff like this, I used to do meditation years ago. But it just wasn't working for me, so I just did other stuff. Some people use sport, art, their creative side you know, to find inner peace. So yeah, check out Jack's streams. I think Jack was asking people if he should do more of these streams, or would he like at the end of the day, Jack, what I would always say to people out there that have a channel, at the end of the day, it's your channel. And you should do the content that makes you happy. And you will always find an audience. There's always an audience for stuff. For fuck's sake, I was watching videos of people eating pot fucking noodles, for fuck's sake. Right? They've got loads of subscribers. There's literally a platform for everybody on YouTube. But always do what makes you happy. You will find an audience. It doesn't matter what it is. You'll find an audience. And the best thing is, if you do multiple stuff, you're giving yourself a greater chance to get exposed and to get yourself out there. Just to bring my inner peace, either sat on a range or chilling out looking over a lake, evening all. Yeah, we got a place in here, called Blessington Lake. I used to go there a lot when I was troubled as a kid. It was my place that I used to go to. I could always relax there for some weird reason. I would just hop on the bus. It was only an hour on the bus, but it was lovely. It was peaceful. You had the lake, and if the water was down low enough, because it was an old valley, you could still see the church steeple, because they flooded the whole valley with all the buildings in it. But you could still see the church steeple on a low when when the water is down. Yeah, I used to love going there. Fishing as well. Now, I haven't fished in years, but I used to love fishing. Fishing as well was another thing that I found relaxing. Some people find that boring, but I do. I love the old fishing. Keeps me mind. And Jack, you do as you want on your channel, and people will watch. Exactly. Yeah, never try. See, this is the thing. If you go and try, please everybody. And I have tried to do that over the years, not going to lie. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, yeah, and you end up being miserable yourself. So you should always do what you want to do, and an audience will find you, And
Raquel Welch has died.
What?
Raquel Welch has died.
Well, how old was she? She was
82.
Well, still, that's yeah. Jeez, that's sad. Oh yeah. Obviously Scotland had a bit of news today. Don't want to dwell on it too much,
Yay!
but yeah. All I'll just say is this, right? If politicians meddle with gender ideology, yous are going to leave yourselves open. My advice is if if you've had any brains, you would avoid it like the plague. If you're asked a direct question and you can't answer a simple question, what is a woman? Right? If you can't answer that question, right, then you shouldn't be in politics. Simple as that. She lost her job because she went down this route. And I know some people in Scotland are celebrating. I wouldn't celebrate too quick because the next asshole that could take over could be just as bad as Nicola. So yeah, I'd be on the air of caution there before you all start doing cartwheels and celebrating. You know, but hopefully this will send a message to our successor that if you want to succeed in Scotland, you must steer away. You must either address this head on and actually say, well, listen, this isn't what a man is and this is what a woman is, and be out straight about it, right? You either go down that route or you try and avoid this like the plague, because any politician that meddles with this is going to be brought down. She kind of deserves it. She's been arrogant for the last few years anyway. You know, she's embarrassed Scotland, in my opinion. I'm an Irishman. We have a very close connection to Scotland, and that's not a pretend thing. That is a thing. We're very close to the Scots. She's embarrassed that country, and it's become a laughing stock thanks to her. So I'm kind of glad to see the back of her. But again, I know only too well because I've been around long and I'm bald enough to know, and Lee is the same, sometimes these things don't work out as great as you think that they do, because the next person that comes in could be a complete and total nutcase. So, error of caution there. Yes, celebrate the fact she's gone if you want to. But as I said, just err on the side of caution there and wait and see who the proposed candidates are and see what they stand for. But yeah, some big news in Scotland, and as I said, a lot of people don't actually like her, so it came as a bit of a surprise for a lot. She says she was tired. Again, you're not doing women any favors. It was the same with your woman Jacinta. She gave up her job apparently in Australia as well. All these women apparently, the job's too stressful for them and they can't do the job. I don't believe that for 1 second. I believe both leaders got into something and basically they knew they were going to be defeated in the end, and they both walked. Simple as that. Nothing got to do with tiredness or that. And she has had the ability to do that job in Scotland until she got involved in all of this mess, and that's what's brought her down. Simple as that.
Well, it was quite clear to me that she was using that as a pretext to create, to create the constitutional crisis, to bring about indirectly. It was nothing to do with trans people whatsoever. It was just a useful thing to use as a political weapon. It was quite disgusting, actually.
And she shouldn't have used it, and she's paid for it. Simple as that. Anyway, well, Jack, we leave
and their finances. But, yeah.
We'll leave the last word with you, buddy, because obviously, as I said, we haven't had you, and we will organise that stream. We'll organise it for maybe next week or the week after. We'll see if me and Lee's schedule definitely. I know you've been busy, just in case that pops up and you might be able to do it. But if you can't do it next week, we'll do it definitely the week after, and we'll actually do that episode, that story. We'll do it Classic WhoZone extra with the three of us, and we'll discuss that story in greater detail while we're watching. So we'll do that. But Jack, do your shout outs, and if there's anything else you want to add before we finish up tonight, you're more than welcome to do so. And then Lee, when he's finished, then you could do your shout outs. And if the mods in the meantime could put Gobby's channel, I see Gobby is there as well. If you could put Gobby's Scottish Stavros channel and all the other usual suspects in the chat, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you. So, Jack.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're interested, I have a YouTube channel, Drawing Jackrabbit. I also have a new Instagram of the same name where I'm going to be posting my toy photography. So no artwork, just toy photography if you want to check that out. If you're interested in my artwork, it has a very stupid name, don't ask why, but it's my Instagram is Jack Niblet Main. It's all one word. I know, get it out your system.
Oh, but I love it. I love the fact. How did you even come up with Niblet?
My parents were so cruel, they made that my nickname.
All right. Oh, so it's personal. Okay, I won't laugh. I'm sorry. My commiserations. Yeah, parents can be cruel to their children. I mean, you don't want to.
Well, he got Niblet. I got Boofy.
Yeah,
Boofy. Way cooler.
Boofy Bunny Rabbit. Funnily enough. So
yeah, I
used to have a rabbit toy, and I used to call that Boofy as well. So
yeah, I was called Gary Glitter. But I've got to make the point here now, because we know what Gary. This was at a time where nobody suspected, right, that Gary Glitter was doing what he was doing, especially in Ireland. Dear. So like, yeah, because my hair was kind of, I wouldn't say like Gary Glitter's, but I kind of wore my hair sort of as a kid. I was a bit weird with my hair. Yeah, so. Yeah, even
an Irish person with weird hair. No way.
Yeah. And then obviously when I went to school, and then on the football team, they called me Glitter. So the name kind of fucking stuck for all these years. But it's not now. Nobody calls me that fucking now. I can tell you. I won't tolerate that now myself. But fucking yeah, the weird nicknames. I was also called Skeletor because as a kid I was very bony. I was really bony, but I ate like a bleeding fucking garbage bin. My metabolism was just so off the charts that when I eat, I just burn everything off. But yeah, they used to be called Skeletor as well. But there you go. That's a bit weird. Yeah, talking about our nicknames like that. But there you go. Anyway, yeah, I see Clobber and Times has popped into the chat. We haven't seen you in a while, Clobby. It's been a while. We have to all hook up again and do a stream together, man. We haven't done one in a long while.
Blake 7.
Yeah, we should. Well, we do have to finish that, and I think bringing Clobby on, in honor of, because obviously we be continuing them in honor of Alpha. I think that'd be a good idea. So yeah, if you're around, we'll organise, because remember, New Who finishes after Peter Capaldi, unless I decide to do the RTD era. But if I don't, then what I'll do is I'll put this in its place, and we will continue Blake 7 and finish what we started on Alpha's channel. And we'll continue from the point where we stopped, because it's only fair. We will. We'll organise that, right? So when we decide to do that, we'll organise that the Blake 7 one, and we'll strain together, because it's been a while. We should all get it's actually kind of sad, isn't it, though? When you kind of look, when we all started, everybody was kind of all talking to each other, and everybody was I don't know what it is. I don't know what's happened. It's not. I think life does get in the way, and people just naturally, kind of fade off into the distance, as they say. But it's kind of sad, because I have to say, even though the when I started this back a couple of years back, I actually think back fondly on those, even though I was getting shit left, right, and centre, and I was getting shit left, right, and centre, right? But we were all still a big community, right? You know, Gary would be organising Fury the Hoovian streams or getting us on. Ballstreck was still doing his thing. You know, everybody was doing their thing. It just seemed to be, I don't know, it's just everything over the last few years. And now you look at it now, nobody is really connected anymore. It's kind of sad, but I think that's what this whole pop culture war has done. It's kind of, we've all kind of gone our separate ways, sort of thing. And it's a shame because I think when all YouTube channels were interconnected and we were all doing streams on each other's channels, I think that was sending out a good message to the community that we all had differences of opinions on certain things, but we all still came together, to have these streams. But it doesn't happen as often as it used to, and it should, because it is what's missing. And another thing I was actually thinking about today, in terms of YouTube and what we do, I was kind of thinking, do you know what? If I had a totally ignored the Jodie Whittaker era and actually just spoke about TV and movies that I loved, that were other stuff that was coming out in Hollywood and everywhere else, that was actually good, that was being ignored because we were all concentrating on what was bad. This is the thing as well. Thelma, right, apparently has done well, but why has it done well? Because everybody was banging on about it. I think if we actually want to win this, I think the tactic needs to change now. It was all well and good at the start when we were all complaining about these things because we had real momentum, right? But it's changed now, right? What Hollywood is doing is the more we complain about something, they're doubling and tripling down, and they're giving us another season of that show. Thelma has already been given a second season. Now, if people had ignored it completely and spoke about stuff that they actually liked that was coming out, we'd be sending a message to Hollywood as well. Well, if you make crap, we're going to ignore it. Whereas if you actually get things right and you do take good things, we're going to concentrate on those things and we're going to talk about those shows, those movies. I think we need, but look, I'm a small YouTuber. I can't influence anybody. I shouldn't be influencing anybody anyway. You know what I'm trying to say. But it would be nice if we actually changed the game up a bit. And instead of focusing on all of these things, right, leave them there and let's talk about all the good stuff that Hollywood's doing. And maybe then these directors, these writers will see all of this. I know it's far-fetched now because they're stubborn bastards, but maybe one day a Steven Spielberg will go to a Tom Cruise, you saved Hollywood. We're the fans. We're the ones in control. Remember that. I think we've forgotten that. Instead of focusing on all these shows that we hate and stuff, if we left them there and just spoke positively about all the stuff that we liked, like House of the Dragon and all that, Cobra Kai, even up until a point, the Orville, these were all good shows. If we had to just focused on all of them full time rather than focus on all the negative all the time and giving these shows the free promotion to the year. I mean, the funny thing is I've even wrote up a post myself, but when I actually read back on it now, I'm actually laughing at myself because we do exactly the same thing. We were saying to the people that were hating on Hogwarts Legacy, thanks for the free promotion. What do you think we're doing if we're giving about Thelma and all of these other things? We're giving them free promotion. So we're literally being hypocrites. We're literally doing the same thing as the other side. We need to change it up. We need to focus on those shows. Like I watched a great show. I even said to Lee, you got to check out From. It's a great show, it is. Right? Lee went and checked it out, and he actually loved it. He's been banging on about the Tulsa King, or whatever you call it. Keeps telling me to watch that. I will eventually watch it, but it looks great. I actually watched the trailer. It looks absolutely amazing.
And Barry,
Right?
Barry, you have to watch Barry.
And there's another one. So if we focused on those things, like Barry, like From, like all of these other shows and these movies like Maverick, right? If we focus on Maverick and all of these other movies that were great, instead of focusing on all the negativity all the time, and we change the game up and we let Hollywood know, well, if you do something shit, we're not even going to talk about it. The show will die. The show will die there and then because we're not highlighting it. But as soon as we highlight it, and it's the same with Captain America, and I always say Captain America did end up not Captain America, Captain Marvel ended up making money, right? But it wouldn't have made as much money if people weren't kept banging on about Brie Larson every 5 minutes and hadn't banged on how bad that movie was. We should have just ignored it and talked about the movies that they were making that were great and focus on them. But who am I to tell anybody what to do on their channel? They're going to focus on whatever they want to focus on. But I think to win this, if people are actually goddamn serious about winning this culture war, well, then we've got to send a message to Hollywood. And we're not right now. The message that we're sending, the same message that we were sending 5 years ago, does not work today because they're doubling and tripling down. So we've got to change it up. We've got to change the focus on the good that they're actually doing, right? And highlight those things so they give us more of that. But who am I, as I said? I'm a small YouTuber, in a small little corner of my own little place. Maybe someone will come across this video and hear what I've had to say, maybe clip it, and then maybe something will happen. There'll be a movement, doubt it though, but something should happen. We've got to change the game up. We're not winning anymore. It's a stalemate right now. Nobody's winning here, right? It's a stalemate. We've got our little victories, but your Doctor Who could be on the way back up again. But that's still if, buts, and maybes, right? But the rest of the industry, the rest of it is in a state, and we've got to change up how we do things, but people won't listen to me. I mean, if it was a bigger YouTuber spewing this, people would sit up and listen and probably take notice, but I'm not a big YouTuber, so I have to just get me point across and hope that other people agree. Yeah, exactly, and hope that other people actually agree with me. I don't know how you guys think about that, but that's how I think we should do it now. I don't think focusing on the negative has actually helped us, really, to be quite honest with you, especially these last couple of years. I think it's actually had the reverse effect.
It's why I'm so bored of those big channels. It's like I'm starting to think that they're not geeks at all. They just do it for the drama and the attention.
Do you know what?
I agree with you 100%.
Jack, I actually starting. Listen, I know there's definitely some out there that do that without a shadow of a doubt. But even the ones that I thought that would never do that, I'm kind of even thinking myself now. But it's the same argument you've had for 5 years now. Do you not think it's time to move on, sort of thing?
And it's like the words are actually just getting boring now, like because they say the same words all the time. It's like, I won't name them, but what I swear, they complain that my generation contributes nothing when they must make about 3 or 4 videos a day. It's like,
no, look. I always make a point to say that yes, this generation is wrote off, but within that generation, there's people like Jack, there's people like Daniel, there's people like Charlotte. There's a generation that within that generation that's fucked up. There are actually some decent people that are being basically tarred or painted with the same brush as everybody else, and that's not. It is not fair, Jack.
Remember, that generation was created by our generation. I just have to point that out.
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. I said a couple of weeks ago on this channel, we're actually responsible for this mess. Because I'll tell you why we're responsible. Because instead of being parents to our kids, we didn't want to bring our kids up the way we were raised, right? Which was the right way, in my opinion, when you look back on it now, right? We didn't want to do those things that our parents did to us as parents. So we decided to be our kids' best friends. And then when you decide to be kids' best friends, They run rings around you. Before you know it, then they're changing fucking laws to make it fucking, you can't do this, you can't do that. And then all of a sudden then, you can't raise your fucking child in this society.
I
was talking about this, I think, with Charlotte. I was talking about a little slap. You know, we got a little slap. Well, more than a little slap, but, you know, I was even saying now, even a little, when my daughter was growing up, you know, if she was out of line or out like that, I took her little hand and I went, and I just tapped it. Just, not even hard, just a little tiny tap to say, bold. You're bold. You can't do that. That's raising a kid. But you can't do that now. If you do that now, that's child abuse. You're locked up. This is what we created this. This is our mess. We created this. And now I've seen videos. Listen, we're God help us when we get old, by the way.
Yeah.
Is all I'm going to say after the videos that I have seen. I seen a video, a totally disgusting video the other day of an old lady in a wheelchair. And it doesn't matter about the colour of the skin of the people that are involved, right? Because you could bring race into it if you want it and all of that, right? But it's gone beyond race to me, right? When I see a nurse who's supposed to be looking after someone's mother and grandmother is physically beating that person up and drags them out of their wheelchair.
I mean, very violently. I mean, disgusting.
This video's up on Twitter. If you haven't seen it, it's on my Twitter account. Shocking. I have never. Now, listen. In all my time, I've seen some. Lee will actually agree with me here because he has seen some of the stuff I've been sent, and he's been sent some awful, disgusting stuff as well. But I have never ever been so outraged in all my life. I've never been so angry in all my life to see something like that. How dare people treat our old age pensioners like pieces of fucking trash? Without that those generations, right, we wouldn't have half of the things we have. It's absolutely disgusting and vile what's happening to old people in care homes, and it's happened in loads of care homes in Ireland recently were exposed as well for doing the exact same thing. This is systemic, like the child abuse that the Catholic Church was involved in. This is a systemic thing in society, and we are screwed when we get older because the generation you see here, the way they talk about us, they're even talking about, well, we get to a certain age, we're no use to society anymore. You will see that it's one of the headlines. This professor says that when we get to a certain age, well, we should consider other methods of moving them on, basically. I can't say the words on YouTube because I'll get... But just think about what the bad Germans did to the Jewish people. That's exactly what they want to do to old people now.
Does this professor realise that he'll be old one day?
Yeah, do you know what, Jack? Do you know what? He's probably that sick in the head, mate. He'd probably get to a certain age himself, and you know what, right? Because there's really sick people in this society. I just cannot get me head around what I've seen over these past few weeks. You know what? Twitter is actually making me miserable. You will notice I'm not actually on Twitter as much. I'll post the odd post and I'll say the odd comment, but I'll throw up music videos and stuff like that in my own streams. But I'm not really interacting on Twitter anymore because it's depressing me. Because it's unfair to say that Twitter, you're seeing the underbelly of society because it's not a true reflection of society. But what you are actually seeing is the vile parts of our society. So most of the radical left are, by the way, if you see what their ideology is and what they believe, I mean, they're calling us the bad Germans. That is the most ironic fucking thing that I've heard ever. And everything is far right now, even in this country now where politicians are using far right. What the fuck are you talking about? There's no far right, right? Speaking up against certain things isn't fucking far right. It's a fucking freedom of speech and human right, right? And if it's not based on hatred and it's not based on bigotry, then all it is a fucking opinion, right? You need to all get over yourselves. Oh, I'm actually angry. I need to actually stop now. I don't want to get into this old Noel again, because old Noel was crazy. And I don't think old Noel needs to come back, because this Noel, I like this version of Noel, this calm, nice version of Noel. I don't want to go back to the old Noel. But these people are driving me so crazy that I feel like I have to do something. We need to stand together or do something. And I don't mean anything violent or anything like that, but I think society, I think a lot of us, we all need to stand shoulder to shoulder. I think we need to speak up more. People are speaking up. That's the good thing, though. I will say I'm seeing a lot more people speak up than they dared speak up before, right? And that's absolutely great, but we need more of that, and we need to keep it coming, because, you know, the end game to all of this is not nice for any of us, right? And the ultimate goal, right? You won't believe this, but I'm going to say something, right? Sterilization has been a thing that they've been talking about. Politicians, dark societies, whatever you want to call it, for decades now, right? And they were talking about all mad plans and mad ideas to make this happen. Well, they just have to sit back now and let society do it now, because you have crackpots telling the rest of us that there's more than two genders, right? And the ultimate goal of this is to reduce the population. End the fucking story, right? If you look,
hey, Karen, welcome to the Doctor
Ones of
Who
Weng-Chiang
channel,
stream.
the Weng-Chiang
anyway,
stream.
yeah, the 4 hour and 20 minutes is the episode. We spoke about it, so go and check it out. But I had to get a few things off my chest, as I always do.
There you go.
But
that's true.
I'm sick and tired of this. But it's coming to a head. The levels of attacks on me and others is getting so bad. They're even eating each other. I know, man. Gobby is one of the nicest people on the play. Like, as I said, you know, Gobby is one of these guys, and he's always been out straight with me, and I can attest to that. He's always been out straight with me. That's all he is, and he has opinions, but that's all they are. There's nothing bigoted, or he doesn't have a hateful bone in his body. If Anthony's all should be kissing his fucking boots. He defended your country. A man, you're attacking a man that defended your country. That's how sick and vile you are. You're calling him the bigot. He defended his country against bigots and racists and all of that. Again, you label people, doesn't make any sense. Don't be projecting, because that's all you have been doing the last few years, is projecting. We all know that you are the ones that actually need to repent, not any of us. But anyway, Lee, do your channel shout-outs.
Well, yes, you can find me at The Problem Being on Twitter, and Ordred Audio Visual is my YouTube channel.
Fantastic. And again, you can find me here on Mondays, 7 p.m. for New Who's On, Tuesday for member streams, Wednesday Classic Who's On, 6:30, Friday the Tartar Zone talks at 5:45, and Friday night contact at 9 p.m. with myself, Lee, and Chris. Also, there was something else I forgot, so just bear with me for a second, because there was something, and it's just popping out my head there, because I'm still fucking angry. What was it? It's gone. It'll probably come to me later on.
No, when you do the Blake 7 stream, can you do your intro but sort of tuned into the Blake 7 theme?
I've got a Blake 7 theme that I've made, so we can use that.
Oh, nice one.
No, you know the Blake 7 theme, Noel.
Yes.
Just do it in a sort of like way. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TARDIS zone. Something like that.
No,
Come on,
I'll
it'd be
tell you
brilliant.
what. I'll tell you what. If you want to record it, or you want to do a little video or something, or give Lee the audio or something so he could work something magic that's not going to take all of his time up, I will play that at the start of every Blake 7 stream that we
And then
do.
at the end, you could do like a please like, share, and subscribe.
You
Leave a
can do it.
comment down below, and be sure to follow me on Twitter.
You could do it. You could do it because I love the way you take the piss out of the Irish accent. You do know
I'm
you're
half
going.
Irish, so
You do know you're going to hell. Anyway, just want to let you know that because God is Irish. He loves the Irish. He created.
that would explain why he's so angry throughout the.
God is green.
Anyway, no, but yeah. If you want to, because we have a couple of weeks until we decide when we're gonna actually start those streams. So if you want to do that, Jack. And Lee, if you want to work your magic, and there's a way of doing it that I could play at the start as an intro while we're doing these Blake 7 streams, then I'm all for it. You know me, I'm up for a bit of fun. I don't mind if anybody takes the piss out of me because I'm Irish. Because us Irish actually have a fucking sense of humour, and we know that she's already taken the piss. I mean, we laugh at the rest of the world because you ain't us. So you know what I mean. The joke is all on you guys, because you ain't us. So,
Well, anyway. If you weren't pirates 800 years ago, we wouldn't have taken over your country.
I know, right?
Oh, for God's sake, you're going to get into the getaway. Don't even go there now, right? Because if you want to be a smart ass about, 800 years, but we finally got rid of you, so shut the hell up.
No, could you be a pirate? It'd be so cool.
What?
If Noel was a pirate, he'd be so cool.
Yeah. Well, if I lose me eye thanks to the sweet chili sauce, I'll let you know. I'll wear one of the eye patches for you as well. And I'll go full pirate. Do you know what I'll do as well? I'll hack off my leg as well, so I can use
put
a
Ted
wooden
on your
peg.
shoulder.
Yeah, and I'll put it on my shoulder instead of a carry. Yeah, that's it.
Noel can be the bad guy for the next Pirate of the Caribbean.
That's it.
Captain Jack Sparrow. I finally thought you'd arrive on me boat. This'll get me very I have a celebrity, guys. Johnny Depp on me boat. Hello? Yeah.
Oh, I think I'm at the rubber more sweet chili. It's on me hand. It's on me fucking hand. I never washed me hands, and I'm at the blinding myself again. It's the fucking chilies. I never washed me hands after I chopped the chilies, and I'm at the rubbing me eye. And now I'm at the doing the other eye now, so I'm gonna be like that, Ross. I'm gonna be blind. I can't
the blind leading the blind.
Hold on, who's at the posting the Scottish that? Oh, is that a load of laughing emojis? I can't fucking see me.
Either that, or it's like tears stream out your eyes emojis because of rubbing.
I cannot believe I'm doing that. You know what? The first thing we're told as a chef. Always wash your fucking hands after you're chopping chilies, onions, and anything.
See, all that multitasking didn't pay off. No,
it fucking didn't. You were right in the end.
No, the good news is at least you'll only be able to hear Velma, not see it.
Well, yeah. Oh man, she's wrecking me head with all of that, man. I don't know. Right, I'm gonna run a poll in the next stream. Is this grounds for divorce?
Rub chili in your ears, that'll help.
No, you muppet. I could see that, Daniel. We'll see who you're calling a muppet now in a minute, mate. Hold on. Wait, you feckin'. I can't see. Oh, right. I'm going to leave it there. Anyway, as I said, you can find all the streams there. I've got two Facebook groups. One's the New Who Years, and the other one's the Classic Years that has over 1,000 members. We have Chuck there, Chuck Bennett, who runs those groups there for us, and has been on the channel, hasn't been on in a while because he was moving and all of this stuff with the pandemic and stuff. So we did have him on briefly, I think. He popped on a couple of weeks back or months back. But we have to get him back on. But yeah, he runs those groups there. Then of course you've got my Twitter account at NoelZone on Twitter there. If you want to subscribe to me, follow me. I'm 15 away from 1,000, so I'm nearly catching up on Lee there because Lee already reached 1,000, and I'm kind of like pissed off at Giselle. Why did he reach 1,000 before me? Like, he just set up a new account, man. I've had mine 5 years, man, and he's give you what's going on? There's no justice in this world, money messing. But fair play to Lee. He got to over 1,000 followers on Twitter, which is a feat in itself, man. Considering we hardly get any fucking help from Twitter's algorithm. So the fact that we're both, I'm nearly at 1,000 as well is a fucking miracle. Considering me last Twitter account that they took down on me, if you remember, had 995, and while most people got most of their followers back, I never fucking did. So I had to start again. So I've nearly got to 1,000. I should have got to 1,000 ages ago, but I'm nearly there. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. Make me feel important. Money messing. Go and follow me on Twitter now, money messing. I'm also on Instagram, which I'm using a little bit more now, posting me stuff, me videos and stuff up on there. There's a bit of artwork there as well that was done by people. I nearly rubbed me eye again. I'm actually looking for the punishment here. I'm actually trying to kill him. I can't say that. I'm actually trying to blind myself here. Anyway, that's what I've got going on there. I do have a Discord server, but I never use it, and nobody is ever really there anyway, so it's not point of view. Why did I even mention that? But it's there anyway. I forget what's even under now. The TARDIS on. Some numbers, hashtagging a number. When I get back to using it again, I'll let you know. And I do have the backup account on Twitter as well. Just in case, because it's been there over a year now, so they can't. If I do finally get removed off Twitter, because these muppets like to report me all the time, I have a backup account. So if you haven't followed on that, don't follow on that. That one is private for now. We have that one private for now. So if you need to follow, I think I have to reply back to you to let you in. Anyway, it's nice to see Clobbering Times there. In the chat, yes. and Chris and Scottish Stavros and all the usual suspects. I want to thank you all for popping in for both streams today. Obviously, we did an extra TARDIS talks for you today because of the shooty costume stuff, the film and photographs. Yeah, I do need gloves. You're right, surgical gloves. Anyway. Yeah, so we did that stream. If you haven't checked it out, go and check it out. We'll be back on, what's it now? Today is Wednesday, isn't it? So we don't do that tomorrow. So we're back on Friday for another TARDIS talks. And then, as I said, Friday night is with Chris and himself there on the top of the chat there on the other side of me. That guy, he joins us as well. Lee joins us as usual. The three amigos will be here, hopefully. And as I said, if don't know if Jack still wants to be a backup for that now or wants to do the Blake 7. But well, I mean, you can do the Blake 7 streams with us if you want, or if you want to do New WhoZone, you could pop in on the panel there if you want. I could do with another panelist on the New WhoZone, but we're doing Peter Capaldi, and I don't know if you can actually tolerate any episodes from season 9. So no. I mean, well then there you go. So I mean,
except Face the Raven, I like that one.
Right. Well, we're not at that story yet. We're a few episodes away from that. But we're on under the lake. That one, the lake before the flood and under the lake. That two-parter.
One of the coolest monster designs ever, and then he just got washed away, like he was flushed in a giant toilet, and it was just like, what was the point of that?
I know, but still a good start too.
Oh, by the way, for those of you who don't know, when the monster screams, that's actually Corey Taylor from Slipknot.
Oh.
Wow. They brought him in to record the screaming.
Fantastic. I didn't know that.
because he's actually a Doctor Who fan. Well, I don't know if he still is after the past 5 years, but I mean, he used to be.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway, I haven't gone blind, so that's good. But I am going to we're going to wrap it up here now because I just have a funny feeling I'm going to rub my eye again, and I need to wash my hands before I completely blind
do that
myself. But again, as I said, thank you everybody that did tune in today. We really do appreciate all the support, and as I said, get subscribing to all those channels that we're throwing in, especially Drawing Jack Rabbit. What is wrong with my pronunciations all of a sudden? Sometimes I act like I have Parkinson's or something.
You might be a bit distracted, with your eyes being burning and everything.
That could be it. Anyway, go and check out John Jack Rabbit's channel, Scottish Stavros and Friends Wrestle Pop Culture, Gobby Guy, and of course the amazing Clobbering Times is also in the chat. Go and check out his channel, and Dan from the Space Book. I suppose, let me see, who else am I forgetting?
Rabbi.
No, the Rabbi was going to get mentioned. Rabbi, go and check out Rabbi's channel. If you haven't checked out his quickies, I love the way. Do you know what? I'm just going to say this before we leave. Obviously, they're known as YouTube shorts, but wouldn't you know that Rabbi would come up with a better name, a quickie? I mean, it's not surprising. It's not surprising, but that is so Rabbi to come up with.
He's filthy. Quickie. I love it.
And I love them. They're funny though. They're funny because he has the little intro comes in, then he comes in big head on the screen, and he's doing all these ranting and he's raving. It's funny. It's the one they're funny. They are, but they're serious as well because he's given actual news
Shalom,
as well.
Ezra.
But Ezra's in the chat as well. Nice to see you, Ezra. But go and check them out if you haven't. They're very good. He's quickies. But yeah, he's very clever. I have to say.
He's funny as fuck.
I love it. Right, we're off. I forget what stream we're actually on now. Oh yeah, Classic Who. Right.
Oh my god. Just wrap up, William.
I'm playing the intro. Oh, the outro. Here we go. Bye-bye.
See you, Clubby. See you guys.
Bye.
See you,
Bye.
Ledge. Bye. Bye all.